From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's Monday, and you know what time it is. It's a fun day for us because you know who I got in the house with me, and he's over here feeling good, feeling great already. My man, the Don of Cape Cod himself, Jeff Dawson. He got Elijah, he got the Bears background. He's over here bumping California Love live from the strip, y'all. He's over there with the Zach Galifianakis' character from Hangover. I don't think Batman comes out there anymore after the way he got mollywopped out there years ago. Superman might be out there too. You know what? They're not out there anymore, Jeff. To be honest with you, I think they made a law or something where they can't be out walking around begging for money and stuff like that. And anyway, you get into the Flamingo Girls way anyway. That's what that area is for. The girls with the feathers on the bottom, man.
You used to be able to go on the Planet Hollywood side, you know, and Batman would be there, Elvis would be there, and a handful of the other guys, the Minions and like that. But overall, weekend was good. We wrapped up a nice 3-week run here in July. We started baseball 13-2, ended 15-5. Glad the break's here. Good time to recharge the batteries, get ready for the Open and golf this weekend, and look forward to the Bucks. Nice, impressive win. The Game 4 has been the tricky one the whole time, Pops. Phoenix has found a way to steal that Game 4. When you think that team's going to even the series, they've got out early. That 10-2 start and haven't looked back, but we're excited here. Weekend's good.
All right, well, you already know, man. Wichita was a great weekend. Bucks finally won their game, 120-100. They were very impressive last night because the thing is that the Phoenix Suns weren't hitting those three-pointers that they were hitting the first two games, and they found a way to kind of isolate Aiden a little bit. They didn't call his name out too much last night either, but this is simple and plain. There's a lot of people that doubt Giannis, and even myself, but that guy went off in game 2 and 3. Last time somebody got 40 points, 10 rebounds or better, Shaquille O'Neal, way back about 21 years ago. And, when Shaq did that was absolutely incredible. And it was oohs and ahs, but they score so high in the NBA now, it gets overlooked. But Giannis had made up for another great game that they lost badly, then comes back around and does the same thing again, and it's shown that maybe he might be the one unguardable player in this series because Giannis is now just taking care of his business the right way. He's not settling for jump shots. He's working his way into the jump shot. Now he's really sitting up in there having himself a grandioso of a time, out down there in the key. He's making Aiden work. He's making everybody work down there. They even had to throw Cam Johnson on him yesterday as well, too, just so they could try to save fouls. And I think this is absolutely incredible, Jeff, that nobody's talking about the big efforts of Giannis to get his team over the finish line as well, too. Chris Middleton stepped it up last night. Drew stepped it up last night as well, too. Brooke was very helpful as well, too. Bobby Portis wound up actually contributing last night because he got some minutes. And I just think to myself, you know what? The Suns, don't think that just because you keep winning game 4 you're going to win this game 4 because you guys got to figure out a way to stop Giannis.
The whole playoffs, Pop, has been, Suns in 4. And if I see that guy one more time on social media, talk about making himself a millionaire in just one little tweet here and picture. Giannis and the Bucks have been the forgotten team. I mean, listen, hats off to the Suns. Great season, great playoff run, great bubble run last year, and the Bucks just methodically went through the East. They won Game 7 in Brooklyn. What happened to start this series? The Suns held serve. They won the first 2 games. We talk about this at length, Bubs. The series doesn't start till a road team breaks and gets a win on the other team's floor. I expect the Bucks to win Game 4, and I like them in the best out of 3. They've shown they can win on the road. No disrespect to the Suns, but if they're all clicking on all 3 cylinders, I'll take my chance with Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday versus Booker, CP3, and Aiden.
And you saw last night, Booker, when he's having a bad game. What happens? His coach benched him for the whole fourth quarter. And everybody keeps telling me Kobe this and Kobe that. And do you think Phil Jackson would ever bench Kobe Bryant in the fourth quarter?
Hell no.
In the NBA Finals game?
No.
Do you think Phil Jackson would have benched Michael Jordan in an NBA Finals game?
Even with the flu, he wouldn't have.
Right. So let's stop the comparisons to Kobe, because I know you guys just want to bring up Kobe all the time. Rest in peace to the brother Kobe Bryant. You know, I love him too. You know, I was right there when he was traded to the Lakers and everything. I was watching the draft that night. I know the whole story. I lived it with him. And RIP, but sometimes y'all got to get out your feelings about older players and just really judge these players on who they really are. And, you know, Devin Booker was a winner all of his life until he got to the NBA. And then in the NBA, they taught he became a selfish ball player. Now he's starting to become a better team player as we go. But last night he made a lot of selfish moves and a lot of selfish plays, and that's why his ass wound up on the bench, because he was playing with a loser's mentality throughout the whole game. So, you know, the coach caught that, and that's why he was on the bench last night. Jeff, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, unfortunately the NBA game has changed. There's a lot of, make sure I get my points, make sure I get my shots. I got the sneaker contract. I got to keep my brand, squeaky clean on top of the level with the rest of the league. And unfortunately, Devin was put in his place yesterday, not hitting the shots, head down, frumpy, however you want to call it. He was put in check. I expect to see a feisty Devin Booker to start Game 4. Again, if I'm Milwaukee, I'm real scared for that first 5 minutes. They've done this every Game 4. They get out early, and then they never let you back in. So Milwaukee did what they had to do and stop the bleeding. Now they got to make a statement and win Game 4. And I think the best way they can do that is keep Booker in his place, what they did in Game 3.
And another fun fact for everybody is nobody on the Suns last night scored 20 points. Nobody. Chris Paul got to 19, and that was it. And Crowder, to me, can't be your second leading scorer in a game like this. He just can't. You know what I mean? And Aiden did a good job last night. He didn't get a double-double, but he did what he had to do. But he was in a lot of foul trouble last night anyway. So, hey, even with foul trouble, 18 points, 9 rebounds, that's not a bad stat sheet. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some more stuff that was just filling up the internet for no reason. Okay, a lot of people, before you go crazy, just understand that this is a scrimmage. And I think that you have to give more props to Team Nigeria than beating up on Team USA. Team Nigeria has came a very, very long way. And people have to understand that about 5 to 10% of the NBA right now has Nigerian players. Every time you see an African last name, most likely that guy's from Nigeria. So pretty much you have a lot of players from Nigeria, including the Greek freak himself, who just is a Greek. As a national to Greek, he's a citizen of Greece, but he could play for Nigeria if he liked to as well too. So, you got Bam Adebayo, who could have played for him as well. This team has been building this for years. They always win the Africa Cup, and whatever that is, what they play to get to qualify. They're always the top team in that as well too. Look, this ain't 1992, and this ain't Angola. Okay, this is these guys are trying to get in the NBA as well too, or some type of overseas spot. And when you show up against Kevin Durant, Zach LaVine, Damon Lillard, need I say more? hey, it is what it is. But I can go ahead and give Team USA a bit of an excuse. They've been playing with each other for 3 days. They don't have any, and they don't have that active leader, that old man on the team that they've had the last couple of Olympics. Or it was Carmelo in the last one. It was Kobe in the one prior to that, and Kobe in the one prior to that one as well too. So now you got a team with some young guys, and now you're seeing how these guys aren't great leaders for their actual teams, and that's why they weren't able to get into a flow like the way that they wanted to. What are your thoughts on the Team USA, Jeff?
I'm going to say something that's probably not going to be well liked to all the listeners, Pops. I go back to the first Dream Team, and then from there on up, winning by 40 every game. It was poetry in motion. But yes, my honest feelings about this, to again, where the NBA is today, they yell, they scream, they complain about the back-to-backs, the load management, not enough rest time. And this is going to be when I say this, it's not going to be taken the right way. I enjoyed when the kids played, Pops. I enjoyed when the college kids got out there. Did we win the gold? No. Okay. But it gave the kids an opportunity to play at that level, to know what they're getting ready for in the NBA. Now, all these stars that are playing now for the Olympics, and I get it, a chance to win a gold, a big thing for their country. Again, another feather in their caps and their brand. It's like the All-Star break, meaning it's a recruiting tool. They're talking about Tatum out there, talking to Beal, and who can we try to get to come back to Boston and all the other teams, yada yada yada. Again, this was a game that, as you said, 3 days of practice. Hats off to Nigeria. I mean, I'm expecting big things from the USA, but again, I just don't want it to follow up into October, November, December, which it's going to be, for the fact that, again, these guys didn't get enough rest in their summer. The body's hurting. The body didn't have time to heal. Therefore, I need some time off once the regular season starts up again.
And you know what? This is to piggyback off what you just said about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum needs to stop whatever he's doing, trying to recruit Bradley Beal, because you know what? They have a great front office in Boston, and they don't need his help to recruit players. But what's going to recruit players is 17 championships sitting on the board in Boston Garden. That's that. If you need somebody to recruit a player, go call Bill Russell. Go call Larry Bird. But Jason Tatum, you have done nothing on the Celtics yet to really say, hey, can you come on and play with me? Because you're not even the best player on the team. The best player on the team is Jaylen Brown, in my opinion, Jeff. And, Jason Tatum needs to kind of worry about his spot being still on the Celtics, because from what I hear, they prefer Brown over Tatum as well, too. And if they have to trade one of them, they would get rid of Tatum. I know ESPN's in love with Tatum, but that doesn't mean that the Celtics are at the same time, too, Jeff. You know what I mean? So, and Jaylen was there first. And so Jaylen knows exactly how this thing goes. I think Jason Tatum does need a new spot, because he's always been thinking about himself more than the Celtics. And that's what the biggest problem is, why the Celtics aren't going forward right now. If you see Jaylen Brown, he's Celtic pride all day. If you see Tatum, it's always about, oh, did I put on Kobe's jersey right? Or did I put on Kobe's shoes right? Or Larry Hughes is my uncle. Who cares? Go out there and play some basketball, man.
Pops, he got this from Kyrie Irving and the All-Star break, when him and KD were in the tunnel talking about max contracts. And in the offseason, he did have, before Kobe passed one summer, he worked out with Kobe, and then he was working out with Kyrie. He idolizes Kyrie. He worships the ground Kyrie walks on. And I am 100% behind you when you talk about Tatum versus Brown. In my eyes, it's a no-brainer. And I'm telling you right now, if I was Brad, okay, I'd be on the horn with Minnesota. And I'd say, okay, what do you want for Cat? And if they said, we want Tatum, I'd do it straight up. Okay, it's time. It's time, because, again, he's a brand guy. He's an eye guy. He's all about the money, all about himself. He wanted to go out west, play with Devin in Phoenix, put up his 35, 40 a game, and he's happy with it. He's not driven. He's been coddled his whole life, from AAU to Duke to now the NBA, and he's getting paid, and he's won nothing. And I agree with you 100%. Listen, I know he's got talent, but if I had a choice, I'd work with Tatum, and then I'd move on from there. I mean, work with Brown, I'm sorry, and then move on from there.
And you see how he wasted Kemba Walker as well, too.
Yeah.
Because you won't let Kemba be the point guard. You want to be, oh, let me get the ISO play. Let me do this. Let me do that. You do not know the treasure of having a Kemba Walker, but that's okay because a winning team is about to get Kemba Walker, and they'll be fine. One of these elite teams in the NBA, and hopefully it's the team that wears purple and gold out my way. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, you got either that or the Knicks, I think. Those are the one side of the other.
The Knicks, the Knicks, I think the Knicks will sell plenty of season seats because all they got to do is run the tape from Garden Week with the Kemba Week. That's all they got to do is Kemba Week. And if I was the GM trying to bring Kemba to New York, that's all I'm gonna run. That the Garden belongs to you, sir. You're from the Bronx. You know, you make things happen. You know what I mean? So we need you. You know what I mean? And I think the Knicks and Kemba are the perfect fit. I thought that's where he should have been headed to, but he would. But you know what? His ties and his love for the Northeast of the U.S., you know, UConn, all that good stuff. He knows how much love he gets in that area, so that's why he went to the Celtics because he knows he's a legend in Connecticut and Massachusetts and all these places that root for the UConn Huskies. So he knew what he was doing. It was a homecoming situation for him. It just didn't work out the way it was supposed to work out because you got one player who's thinking about himself and another player that does want to push the Boston Pride thing and all that good stuff. And then you got so much talent all over the place with young players that Danny was able to bring in. He did a masterful job. So you know what? Danny Ainge got to get all the props in the world because he did this without missing the playoffs as well too. Mm-hmm. Not one beat with the playoffs. So, you know what? It is what it is. I could talk about this all day and piss off a lot of people, but you know what? Let's get into the NFL because I'm super excited about the NFL and what it's going to be this year because you cannot call out a champion yet. You can't call out who's going to win the division yet unless you're certain teams in the league. We know who they are too, Jeff, but we'll get to them in a bit. But let's talk about this team that has so many options and can actually be the team that they've always envisioned themselves to be, even when the old man was alive. Hallis, let's go ahead and talk about the Bears, Jeff. They were 8-8 last season, and I think that they go over 7.5, but they got to start the kid, Fields. Jeff, what are your thoughts about that?
You know, this division could be turned upside down by one player, and that's Aaron Rodgers. If Rodgers decides to sit out, the division's wide open, and the Bears – will have to make that choice. Trubisky now with Buffalo, they bring in Dalton. Dalton's not the answer. We already know that. They got a guy named Fields that shined at Ohio State, left Georgia, and the crowd wants to see it. He is your future. Great running back with Montgomery and Cohen. Cohen's a little nicked up already. Allen Robinson, one of the best receivers in the game that no one talks about. They have some good other – keep an eye on Mooney. Mooney's going to be having kind of a breakout year the way we see it here in fantasy land. But overall, defense needs to step it up. I like where they're heading, and I think Fields will get the start in week 1. And again, if Rodgers sits out, it's anyone's division. We know the Lions won't be there. Well, we assume that. So you're chasing Minnesota. And so I agree with you with the over 7.5. I just hope it's Fields week 1, not in like week 5 or 6 when they're 1-4 and then they're expecting miracles.
Well, Bears fans told me, oh, take your time, do what you got to do. I said, y'all didn't want to do that with Mitch Trubisky. Why y'all going to do that with Justin Fields? And Justin Fields is way more decorated in his high school and college career than Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky was a bad scouting job. He was good, but it was a bad scouting job in a bad year for quarterbacks, in my opinion. You had Deshaun Watson, who was really good. But you know what? Come on, you're taking a quarterback out of North Carolina? Jeff, that doesn't even make sense at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And Mitch was good in college, but he never impressed me. And then when he went number 2 in the draft, I said this was more of this was an argument in the scouting department. You know, this was came from up top. Who's going to be the best quarterback? We're going to take Mitch Trubisky, even though we got a guy that played in 3 straight national championships sitting over there, and he went to the Texans. But I think the Texans were the better fit at the time for Watson, and Trubisky probably was the better fit for the Bears at the time for what they wanted to do. And that's how that always usually works out. And you know what? I know Deshaun had a little bit of All right, I'm back. We had a little bit of a technical issue, so we'll fix that in a moment. But we got to make sure we get to these commercials. But Jeff, what are your thoughts on the Bears, though?
I like I think the number's actually set for an over. Don't forget there's 17 games. I think they're a work in progress. I like the moves. I like their draft. I just hope, everyone's not expecting miracles. You were talking about Mitch before we lost contact with you in North Carolina. The only thing I saw when he played at North Carolina was his legs. He did very well scrambling and getting out of trouble and making some big runs. I never was impressed with his arm and his throws, but it is what it is. Best of luck in Buffalo. But again, if Rodgers plays, it's Green Bay's division to lose, obviously. Minnesota's getting a little long in the tooth in our eyes. I think Chicago's sitting right in the middle there above the Lions, but probably, a step below Minnesota and Green Bay. And that's where Justin comes in. Can he take the leap? Can he make this his team? Can Montgomery stay healthy? Can the defense pick it up a notch? So overall, I think it'll be close, but I think you can get that 8-9, 9-8 record from the Bears if you need it.
All right, and you know what? I can't wait to talk about Detroit because I'm gonna catch everybody off guard with that one, honestly. And I'm gonna give you my hot take right now. Packers don't make the playoffs this year. Rodgers isn't in a football mood. Come on, man. Rodgers is being a celebrity right now.
Hey, listen, on our show, I again, back-to-back years, I was adamant last year that no way. I go against them. I had Minnesota winning the division, and they just run the gamut. What they go 13-3 or something stupid. Win the division, box the wire. He's in another world. He's going through midlife crisis or something. I don't know what it is. Even the way he looks playing golf and just the grunge look and everything. Having a ball, I guess. If he sits out, he still gets like $18 million or something. And I think he would do that more to spite the Packers. I think he'll be there come late August, and, they'll be the team to beat there, but we'll see.
All right, so that's that. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break. But before that, let's go ahead and talk about HotClub.com. You guys go ahead and get your family, get your man, get your daddy, get your son, whoever. That www.hatclub.com. You guys can go ahead and spend $50, get a 10% discount from the link in the show description. So you guys look it up, get your drip, and you get yourself looking real good. We got a hot summer going on, and everybody wants to be at the beach. So go get your hat, man, so you can be covered up and not be over there having your head sunburned. You already know what it is. But we'll be right back, you guys. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DBacks, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, guys. Yesterday, and I know why Jeff was playing California Love because you know what happened yesterday. Jeff got probably had that walk off situation the other day. Muncy, Max Muncy, the unheralded hero of the Dodgers of the first half, to be honest with you. And Justin Turner quietly is killing it as well, too. That's why he's in the All-Star game. And I just thought, hey, yesterday was a good cap off to the Dodgers season. Started off slow, gained some ground, they got into a little bit of trouble again, and then voila, they hit you with the big oof. And I think the Dodgers right now, after winning that game, they're about to get into position to catch the Giants. What are your thoughts, Jeff?
You know, I 4-1 in the 8th inning, and then next thing you know, it's 4-4, and I got a buddy of mine reaching out to me saying, I got the Dodger run line. I'm like, yeah, good luck there. And what do? They get the walk-off 3-run homer, 7-4. Thank God it was the D-backs. I go back to a handful of shows ago. Guys floating 5-6 games over 500. Now you're 21 games over 500. The Giant team, for some reason, it's not going to go away. I can't pinpoint it. The youth, the veterans, the pitching, the back end, everything is clicking. I think the Padre team is the one that's, springing some leaks, and that was the one that we thought would be chasing you guys for first place. Do I expect you guys to win the division? I checked not too long ago. I think you're minus 400 to win the division, Pops. You can get the Giants right now plus 350, who are in first to win this division. But in the end, again, the back end will start to come back into play for you. Gastrol's back. Jansen, you can get some less innings out of him. Keep your starting pitchers healthy. My one concern, and it doesn't look promising, we talked about it last Monday, Pops, the Trevor Bauer thing's not going away. They extended the 7 days to another 7 days. We'll learn more as this goes, but there's a lot of stuff to peel back in his onions, and that'd be a big piece. You need that moving forward, unless you're going to move like Price back into the rotation at some point or whatever. But it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, you guys will take by the end of this month, you should move into first and extend it in August and September.
Well, let's do this. Why don't we play a little bit of fun, have a little bit of fun. There's some top prospects with the Dodgers that are up there right now, swinging the ball and everything like that. Some pitchers and stuff. Why don't we go ahead and put 4 or 5 players together for Max Scherzer and call it a day? Max Scherzer, he loves DC, though. That's what a lot of people have to understand. A lot of in DC, a lot of guys that play in DC love playing in DC because the fans that that come around them, they have the good fans that will let you be in the grocery store by yourself and not bother you too much and maybe ask you for an autograph as you're walking out, but they're not going to bother you from getting your groceries or anything like that. Saying a place like Cleveland, Cleveland, you have the head high. All right, we're back. Jeff, you there? You hear me?
I'm here. Me and Scotty talked about Max today. I think they're going to end up being sellers. They made the great run. Moved Schwarber to the top of the lineup, and he just went wild. Bad hamstring. He's going to be on the shelf for a while. They got some injuries. I talked about Max, and I think they'll end up, if they do move him, they'll move him to the American League, keep him out of the National League. But again, nothing would go past me. If the Dodgers called him up with 3 or 4 prospects and that's the best package you're going to get, well, then I would move him. But keep your eye on Marquez from Colorado. He's going to be available. A couple other Rockies. You'll get a pitcher if needed, if this Bauer thing's going to go long. So you got enough back there as it is. But, hey, listen, what's one more round, right?
Gibson or Mike Minor are the two pitchers that I have circled, but I'm not a part of anything.
You know? I like Gibson. Gibson's been pitching great this year. Right. And Minor is you want someone that can eat up some minutes for you, Pops. And both of those guys can eat up some minutes. Obviously, Max would be a huge get for you guys. If you got him, pencil it in now. I mean, the rich get richer. I think the Yankees would have a say in that as well before he comes over to Dodger Blue. But hey, listen, why not?
Oh, okay. Nobody's going to the Bronx, man. The Yankees better become some sellers this year because they're not catching the Red Sox, and the Rays are the feel-good team of the MLB. They're not catching them either. They can whoop on us, kick their butt all year. Tampa's kicked their butt all year, and Boston hasn't lost a game to them yet. It's the Yankees have to be sellers. They got to figure out a way to get that big money off the books, in my opinion. You know what I mean? They got to get rid of it. You got to get rid of Standard Judge. Make a choice. Make a choice. Stop being greedy because you're not even being with anything.
They open up 4 games in the Bronx Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, listen, they go 4-0, 3-1. They're back in this race. If they go 2-2, 1-3, 0-4, season's over. So we'll know early. We'll know Sunday night, which direction they're going. The Stanton's going to stay, but I'm sorry, Judge is going to stay. The Stanton contract was just agreed. It made 0 sense at all. So they had their own Twin Towers or the Bash brothers of the Oakland days, but that was a bad signing.
I'm going to tell you like this. Send them to Arizona. Send them to Colorado. Send them somewhere where just get out of here. You know, I know it's bad.
And eat half the contract.
Huh? Contract is yeah, you know, take the contract with you. Yankees don't need all that. Yankees, you know what? You did it before, but it didn't work this time. You know what I mean? And it is what it is at the end of the day. That's why Derek Jeter was like, the first thing Jeter did was say, we're trading Stanton. That's the first thing. They said that was the first thing he did when he walked in the room, was like, go get everybody on the phone because Stanton ain't going to be on this team anymore. I know he Billy Bean the thing, but, hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. Jeter is a smart baseball mind, and eventually the Marlins will be at the top of the NL East because they got a good team.
I agree.
And
they do.
And I like that kid, Jazz Chisholm Jr. He is an absolute monster. Watching him in the Dodgers series, he was the best player on the field, in my opinion. Period. On both sides. And I think that when it's time for him to get paid, he gonna get paid. I'm telling you, if you the Yankees, that's who you need to be recruiting right now. If you the Dodgers, that's who you need to be recruiting right now, because that guy right there is a special kind of player, because he's lead off man. And you hear me?
I'm picking up pieces.
Okay, but all right, so who? All right, who's the surprise team to you, Jeff?
The surprise team in baseball? I mean, hands down, got to be the Giants. In the National League, and in the American League, it has to be the Red Sox. Those are the two teams that weren't expected to be anywhere, and both are atop their division. With the Rays chasing the Sox and the Dodgers and Padres chasing the Giants. Those are my two surprise teams. But the big question is not if, but when are these teams going to start to falter? I mean, they're playing way above their heads right now, but in baseball, this happens. Teams that are formed and built together with great chemistry, and they start believing early. And that's what both teams have done, and it's gotten them to the break right now. And hats off to both managers. I mean, the MVP for the Red Sox, it's not even up for debate. It's Alex Cora. He came in, he put that team together in a sense that they believed in him, and he believes in them. And that's what happens in baseball. Once you start believing, you never give up. It's 9 innings, 27 outs, and that's what these two teams have been doing. And hats off to both of them.
All right, I'm going to be a little bit different. My surprises are with teams that didn't show up. The Twins.
Yes.
Most definitely. The Twins, I had them going back and forth with the White Sox all year long, but that ain't going to happen. And then a team that really has disappointed me a lot this year, but I knew that they were going to be kind of disappointing as well, too. The Cubs. Cubs just can't put anything together right now. And they're not going to the playoffs this year. They're not going to be a wild card team this year. Why? Because the Cincinnati Reds are becoming a team that you have to actually take a little bit seriously now. They're right 4 games behind the Brewers right now. And they had a good series this weekend with the Brewers as well, too. And peep this, Jeff. I know you know this already, but this is for the people that don't really know what's going on in All-Star. Now, 2 starters in the All-Star game, oh, you're building something over there. So the Reds are a team that surprised me a lot because I thought that maybe they might be a year or 2 away, but then they make an awesome pick with the kid from UCLA the other day as well, too, who should be up in the next year. And we're having him at the shortstop position as well, too. So this is going to be fun, Jeff, to be honest with you. The next 2-3 years with the Reds. So I think the Reds have a good opportunity to steal the Central this year. So if you're betting who's going to win the division, I think you need to throw a little bit of change on the Reds.
Listen, they just took 2 out of 3 from the Brewers. Hader blew the last 2 games. Castillo's back. He started slow. He's been pitching his butt off. You got one of the best hitters in the game with Castellanos. You got a bullpen that's it's shown a lot of leaks in some games, but it's closed games when it's had to. A team offensively that can score some runs and can get on base. If you look at their numbers, they leave a lot on base, but you got to get them on base to leave them on base. So I was hot and heavy for them in the playoffs last year. I thought they'd get a little run in them, but they were 3-Q. And so I agree with you. And the Twins, absolute gas can. They're sellers times 10. And unfortunately, with the Acuna injury, I think the Braves are going to be in that. I'm not saying they're going to sell the farm or anything, but they're not going anywhere this year without Acuna. And so they'll be the disappointment in the NL East this year as well.
Hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. So we expect things to be fairly formal here in the second half of the season, but we could get some surprises as well, too. And nobody's talking about the Mets. The Mets been in first place for the last 2.5 months. Nobody wants to mention the Mets at all because they know that they got people. They know that they got some people breathing down their throat right now. But I think the Mets outlast everything because they got the best pitcher in the world right now, Jacob deGrom. And then you got one of the best reclamation stories in all of sports in Taijuan Walker as well, too. And then you got Marcus Stroman as well. You know what I mean? So you have a pretty good staff, and this is all without Thor. And Thor might be back this year as well, too. And then you got Pete Alonso as well. You got a good little hitting team. And you know what? They're winning a lot of games at Citi Field this year, unlike they've had in the last few years. So, you know what? The Mets get a lot of love. They get a lot of props. And I think that they're going to be a team that folks are going to have to look out for because their top 3 are they're just some difficult pitchers to deal with. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. But you know what the MLB's pining for? They would love them some New York, LA in the fall time. You know that because that means ratings and sellouts and 50-50 crowds too. All right. So with that, we will be back. We're going to go ahead and break down Game 4 of the NBA Finals. And you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DBacks, the Primetime Capper, and the Don or K-Cowd himself, Jeff Dawson.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right. So we are back in NBA Finals preview real quick. Hopefully you didn't hear me have my little cussing session real fast. But, off-air stuff. But it is what it is, though. We got Game 4 coming up, Jeff, Wednesday night. And it's great because they're going to play the fifth game on Saturday. So they're trying to stretch this thing out a little bit, Jeff. So I kind of see what they're doing with the schedule, okay? So we get to Game 6. So we will get Game 6 and 7 on, I guess, a Tuesday and a Thursday, or a Tuesday and a Friday, somewhat. Because I guess since they're doing the track, I really don't like the fact that they don't do the 2, 3, and 2. But I know that they said that that was somewhat of an advantage for the away team, the team that's the lesser seed. But I think that's a crock, because we've seen so many top seeds win in that situation that just was a bad excuse. But I think they did that for the Cavs. or the Warriors, somebody they had to cater to in that situation. The 2-3-2 I think is better, because the thing is that, okay, you got 3 straight games on the road, and that means that we go back and get 2 games, you can cut down on that traveling. There's so much traveling, and I think that's what was a big factor in the Warriors not winning a few years back when they played the Raptors, because you got to fly to Canada. And, everybody, well, they got to come to Golden State. But you know what? At the end of the day, though, they the world champs. And, pretty much you got to fly all the way. And at the time, the Warriors needed those 3 games at home, I think. So, man, I'm telling you right now, though, I think what happens tomorrow is, like you said, Jeff, the Bucks have to be on the lookout from a big run to start the game. They're going to have to figure out ways to who they're going to stick, who they're going to make the person that's going to beat them tomorrow. Who's the guy that has to beat them tomorrow? That's the whole thing. Because this is the best thing about the Suns is when Chris Paul is not doing well, Devin Booker will step it up. When Booker's not doing well, you got Michael Bridges stepping it up. And when those 3 ain't doing well, you got DeAndre Ayton stepping it up. And then you got good bench players coming in there doing their part as well, too. Cameron Payne, Cam Johnson. All these guys are very, very good players. And Torrey Craig has been a very, very good asset in the defensive mode, because he's like their PJ Tucker. So there's a lot of things working out in the Suns' favor. But the one thing, though, that works in Milwaukee's favor is that they've lost 1 game at home, and they know what time it is. Their back is against the wall right now, and they already been in this situation before with Brooklyn, and I think Brooklyn still is the better team. And I think that they're going to use that as to their advantage to actually get a very close win tomorrow night. So, Jeff, what are your thoughts? I mean, on Wednesday night, because we still got another day.
It opened at 4. I saw a 3.5 at the Nugget, and then the total is at 220, 220.5. So they're initially saying 112, 108 Milwaukee. If I'm the Bucks coach and this game starts 4-0, 5-0, I'm blowing the timeout. Okay. It's not going to get to 7-0, 10-2. Okay. So as much as I really want to see the Bucks win, I'm actually a little leery. We're holding Bucks plus 650 tickets at ECSI, and I'm still feeling leery. This Phoenix team has a way to win games in the first quarter, and the Bucks need to be ready for that onslaught early. I mean, especially if I'm a Phoenix coach, I'm going to try to get Devin off early. Say, hey, game 3's gone. Forget about it. That's why you sat your butt on the bench for the whole fourth quarter. It's time now. And I think CP3 will be there to pick him up and put him in the right spots. And again, get Aiden going as well. So, I think Vegas is spot on with that 112, 108. I do lean the Bucks. And if the Bucks do find a way to win, this is huge because you get the extra rest. It's set up, like you said, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday. And so, currently, the Suns are minus 255 to win the series, and the Bucks at 215. And basically, if the Bucks hold serve, it's the best out of 3, and it'll be back to the opening line, which was what? My Suns minus 150 and Bucks plus 130.
Hey, it is what it is. People should have grabbed the early ticket on the Bucks, though. You know that, Jeff. Just like you, the 6.5 to 1, baby. That's a good ticket right there. Plus 650 for them to win. That's really, really good because Vegas really was selling you the Sixers and the Nets. They were selling them like, hotcakes. You know what I mean? But if you sharp and you know exactly what's going on, you had to add the Bucks to the middle too. The West got really, really one-sided with the Laker bet and with the Clipper bet too. There was nobody else after the Clippers and Lakers. Kind of a mixed bag, you know what I mean? And then you can say the Nuggets, and I don't think too many people take the Jazz though. And then you know what? Some people were like, "Hey, maybe I could take the Suns." I think the Suns were somewhat of a long shot play, but not the first play on your mind. So don't lie to us and say that you had the Suns the whole time because you didn't.
With us in the Bucks, I'll be honest with you. We had the Clippers out west, and we had Philly in the east, and then as they started playing, Embiid got hurt. And then so Brooklyn and the Bucks, you could have got the Bucks plus 180 to win the series. And I says, why take the Bucks plus the 180 when we could have got them? We got them at plus 275 to win the East, and then we got them at plus 650 to win it all. So it was kind of a hedge with the Philly side. With Embiid being hurt, it wasn't a lock they were going to get by Atlanta, and as we know, they didn't. But it was like, hey, I know plus 180 is a nice number, but might as well take the extra step and take them to win the East and then take the swing at the plus 650. And listen, we were a quarter of an inch away, and if KD was wearing his size 17s instead of 18s, Brooklyn would have won on a 3 there. And the Nets would have been facing Atlanta, which most likely means that the Nets would have been playing the Suns right now.
Right, and it would have been a Brooklyn fest all day, every day.
Yep.
They would have brought out every artifact from Brooklyn ever if it was them in the series. But we'll wait a year for the Lakers-Nets All-Star game final. That'll be there next year. Because I think whoever's a superstar, those are your 2 locations.
You're right. And listen, don't fall off your chair here. Brooklyn's shopping a little, talking about shopping Kyrie. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. It's KD's team, and Harden said he's fine with KD. It's Kyrie that's starting to branch to the right. So they're taking phone calls on Kyrie.
Well, Kyrie, there's a street corner waiting for you as well, too, since you just got to preach to everybody all the time. I got buddies who do the same thing Kyrie be talking about in press conferences. They need somebody to come help out. Stop waiting wasting our time, man, and go play some basketball. But hey, it is what it is at the end of the day, Jeff. I thank you so much for coming in. Maybe we can get you back there sometime this week. But you know what? I think that after Wednesday, I'm just going to take the rest of the week off like the MLB, or come back when we got some baseball games going and everything like that. I know tomorrow we're going to be off because there's just absolutely nothing to talk about. So pretty much, give myself – and you know what? Like you said at the top of the show, us cappers got to get ourselves a break too, and this is our break when the All-Star break actually does occur. I know everybody's like, well, there's still WNBA. Come on, man. I love WNBA too, bro, but come on, we got to have 6 to 10 games. We got to have a pick 6, man. We get, I can't deal with those 2 games out the day. And no. And, so pretty much I want to thank you so much for coming in. Is there any shots out that you want to send before we blast off, my friend?
Follow us on Twitter at EC Sports Invest. Turn on the notifications. We do a live show, The Breakfast Bankroll. Try to do it 5-6 days a week around noontime. The Midday Sports Market Report. You can catch us at www.eastcoastsportsinvestors.com and send us an email if you need to at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. Always blessed, always honored to be here. Another week closer to August and September, where the pigskin will start to fly. Very excited and stoked. Been doing a lot of work and can't wait, pups.
Man, I already know what time it is. NFL Bet Exchange will be back at you top of September. I can't wait to do it as well too. We got 8 Sundays until the big Sunday, and we all looking forward to that part as well too. So you guys make sure you stay tuned, and we got big things on the way for you as well. So you guys make sure to keep that movement moving. And you guys already know, bet with your head, not with your heart. And if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DBacks, the Primetime Capper, and the man himself, the Don of Cape Cod, Jeff Dawson. And we are gone.
From the East and the West,